Right, we're on.
Evening, guys. Hope we're okay.
Evening, everyone. Can you hear us okay?
The novelty being in the same room, isn't it?
I know.
For the change, you can tell it must be the holidays, and I've got nothing better to do than drive up here. Like, yeah. How was everyone? It's a bit weird not being at a screen and seeing all the comments.
Hey, so guys, can somebody comment and just let us know, is the audio okay for you? I'll put my hat on.
Yeah, you okay, Mark? Hi, Sue. Okay, Steve. Hi, Mike.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, hi everyone. Anyone that I've missed in the little chat, we were just having a little chat to our guest who's waiting in the wings. You know, they're not behind the door. The room's not big enough. But yeah, so guys, it's a Monday night, so he's off work.
Not
so
to do
yeah.
Now, yeah.
So we thought, yeah, it's yeah, I'm glad the audio's better, guys, because I know last time a few of you said that my audio was a little bit echoey. So I have invested in a posh microphone, which is, you know, you might see something glowing down here in the corner. So it's yeah, again, it's thanks to your support, guys. We can you some of you have commented saying you like the voiceovers when I do them on the episode. So new microphone, more voiceovers.
Just loves the sound of his own voice.
I do. That's very, very true. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, we've got a good few on. So yeah, anyone we haven't said hello to, again, hello. I'm trying to, you know, we can see everyone's name popping up. And of course, we had to rock the Halloween merch tonight, didn't we?
It's not bad, is it? Yeah.
It is. It's decent, isn't it? Yeah.
Nice and bright. You've got the orange there, and then you've got the green here. Cool. And I can already see the inbox flying up as well for people ordering, which is good as well.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, guys. As I said with the merch, I'm gonna put an order in on Friday morning, so that'll be probably ready to pick up the following week. I will try and do weekly orders for it, but the place that we get them from, although it's in Liverpool, it's on the other side of Liverpool for me. So it's literally an hour and 20 minutes for me to get there and get back. And I'm having to try, because they shut at 5 o'clock, I'm having to use one of my lunches to do that. That's my dedication to you guys. It's, I know. But honestly, it's like, you know, so I will try and do weekly orders, but that's why we've launched it so early, is that you guys don't have to panic. You don't have to, I'm not going to do monthly orders like the other merch. What's this? Let's put this one up. I told Jay I'd give him a shout out if he jumped on.
So he's kind of jumped on, but not watching. Yeah, very nice.
I've got it. That's it. That's a code, by the way, and I won't tell you what the code's for. Watching a film in our place. Jay knows it. I know exactly what he's doing right now, and I won't share it with you guys. Let's just say it's an in joke. I'll tell him after. But yeah, no, cheers, Jay. Thanks, mate. Yeah, there we go. See, a new Cadillac. Caroline said she likes the sound of my voice.
This someone does.
Yeah, we can't afford Simon Entwistle, so you're stuck with me. But yeah, speaking of Simon Entwistle, in a kind of sideways link, I was having a little chat with Ben from Ghost Quest today, and he's there's a potential of more Tales from the Graves if you guys like them before the end of the year, and it's we want to get with Simon as well. It's, you know, we're hoping that there's a Tales from the Graves film closer to here, so that we can get up there and meet him, because he's a brilliant online friend of ours, and we would love to get. I mean, hopefully we'll get him on one of these as well. You know, I am chatting to Simon, and he's very much up for coming on one of these StreamYards. And while, I mean, to have Simon Entwistle, you know, tell you regale his stories for an hour, you know, it's entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite selective, believe it or not, with what sort of paranormal stuff that I kind of tune in and watch. But Simon's sort of one of those people that you could just sit and listen to for hours on end, just recounting and regurgitating stories, and he's just got one of those really. We should do like a podcast or something, really, shouldn't we? Should really branch into that and do something.
Well, he was talking about doing, like, obviously, guys, if hopefully some of you have seen it through the lockdown, he from home, he told us stories from home, and if you haven't, head over to the Ghost Quest YouTube channel. I'll drop the link in the chat in a bit. All the Tales from the Graves are on there, and it's just phenomenal. He's just there, and if you watch stuff on the telly, you'll see him pop up on the telly all over the place. Haunted Happenings actually do a brilliant weekend in Pendle Witch Weekend, and I had to chuckle to myself because they'd just done one, and I looked at all the photos, and literally Simon was the only man, so he must have been in his element. It's just a coach full of ladies, all hanging on his every word.
So what's the structure for tonight anyway?
Yeah,
obviously we've got a guest waiting in the wings, haven't we?
We have. Yeah. So thought obviously we've I'll bring that up and touch on it again. So for anyone who's just jumped on, as I said, with the Halloween merch, with the normal merch, which I will just grab some. Which obviously I've got my new hat ready for the summer holiday. One thing I keep forgetting to mention to you guys as well, don't forget the beanie hats as well.
It was some of them with this weather as well.
I know. So you can get your Halloween beanie hats as well. That wasn't paranormal with the door opening, by the way. The dog's just come in. It's a bit muggy tonight, so I've left this door open a little bit. But there'll probably be a cat in here again in about 5 minutes as well. But so unlike with the normal merch where I'm doing monthly orders, what I am going to do is do weekly orders for you guys for the Halloween merch. So you don't have to panic. If you get paid the end of the month, then you order at the end of the month. So the normal merch, I'm still doing monthly orders because that's easier for me to pick up. But obviously the Halloween merch, we want you guys to get it in plenty of time for Halloween. Maybe even have it in time for Hoylake in September. Definitely have it in time for Hack Green in October, which is going to be a great night. By the way, we've got got something very special planned for that night. So none of you are going home empty-handed. That's all I'm going to say. What's Steve after here? Right, yeah. Steve, do you need to put the heating on or something? I know the cost of living crisis and everything, Steve, but bloody hell, probably cheaper to put the heating on than deck yourself out and all that. But so again, I'll come back to it later on as well, because at the end of the day, this is our first time launching a Halloween merch.
Yeah, it's as you can see, well, I hope you can see there, that's one of them. You got the green haunted scouse writing with the orange pumpkin. And then you've got the orange version with the green witch as well. And you can see a couple of the hats there. Yeah. Obviously, you're sporting one. I like the orange trim on that. I don't even really wear hats, but that's the hat to match. But stands out, doesn't it? It's quite smart.
You do. Yeah. But so again, drop your orders in. I've tried to simplify it as much as I can because, as you can see by everything, it's so strong. The colours are so strong with the black. You'll see a little head bobbing up and down here, Lottie. Right, come on, lay down. The perks of doing this when you've got a house full of pets. So we have. That's why we've kept it just the black, guys. It's we don't want to over egg the omelette by. Somebody wants white, somebody wants green. This is all you can get, black, because that's Halloween at the end of the day. Hi, William. Nice to see you, mate. Long time supporter. Thank you very much. Yeah, we've had the merch for a few months now, and this year we've decided to go all spooky with Halloween merch as well.
reaching across the pond there still as well.
We are, yeah. Evening, Jamie. And anyone else who's joined us on Facebook and YouTube, if you haven't already, drop a comment, say hello, we'll throw it up. Save all your questions, because we're pretty sure you're going to have questions in the next 5-10 minutes when we get our guest on. But yeah, so let's move on to the next one, which is 2024 events update. Now, don't worry, the 2 that we've announced are still on. So just shut that over while Tippy Toes is out there. So the 2 that we've already announced, obviously we've got Antwerp Mansion scrolling along the bottom there. There are currently 12 places left. So again, it's selling well. It's not till January. But if you want to come to Antwerp Mansion, it happens every time we announce the events. We get so many comments saying, yeah, we want to go. And then we wait for the inbox to fill up, because we don't want you to miss out, because, guys, it will sell out. We've never, ever had an event that didn't sell out. We want you to make sure you get your places. So make sure that you've got you're dropping us an email to just let us know that you want that place, and we will secure it for you. Once your deposit's paid, we know that when we announce these events, it's a lot, so you can pay in installments, whether it's £5 a month, £10 a month, however makes it easier for you. That's why we announce them so far in advance. We want to make life easier for you to come to the events. So again, we do price the tickets as low as we can, but we do stretch it out for you to pay. So once you've paid that £20, then the rest of it can be paid at any point up to 8 weeks before. So yeah, so 27th of January, Antwerp Mansion, there's 12 tickets left. 24th of February, Shrewsbury Prison, ironically the more expensive one, there's only 6 places left. So if you've had confirmation you've got your place, then you're there. But if you haven't and you're thinking about it, again, what we tend to find is after we've done these live chats, it ramps up.
Yeah, I think with Shrewsbury as well, because it's the first time that we're doing an event there, and the first time we've investigated there as well. So we're looking forward to that one. But just to say on the events for next year, some of them that we have done before, you might notice there is a bit of a price increase from this year to next year, and it's something that we can't help really. Venues do put prices up each year. There's a cost of living crisis. The electricity, gas, things like that have all factored in as well. And we're not here to rip you off. We're here to try and keep it as low as possible. That we keep our numbers as low as possible as well, so we can actually have a proper paranormal investigation and proper events, and get you value for money basically. But unfortunately, with some, it has had to notch up ever so slightly.
Yeah, exactly.
But luckily, if you're a channel member, you do get 10% off.
Yeah, exactly. That's the good perks of it. Yeah. So I'll just put that up that Caroline's asked. It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I'm confused because it's that long since we've worn black.
Everything's just grey, really.
Yeah, and it literally, in fact, it does, because obviously I'm editing the Halloween one at the moment, and we're wearing the new black ones. So yes, it does. Jay, you're not wrong, mate. You're not wrong. Yeah. So I'll just say hello. Yeah, hi, Chrissy. Chrissy's ordered their Halloween hoodie, by the way, guys. Just saying. Good choice as well, by the way, mate. Looking forward to seeing that one myself. But yeah, so back to the events. So obviously we try to do 4 at the start of the year and 4 at the end of the year every year. That's more than enough. Brings in revenue for the channel so that we can then go and film great episodes for yourselves, guys. Now, we are fully aware that we asked you guys, did you want to go to the more expensive ones, the bigger events, the bigger locations? And you all said yes. So obviously you know that we'll keep our price down as low as we can. So what we're going to do is tell you, have we revealed both at the same time or one after the other?
Let's just go in order to do March and then.
Yeah. So with that in mind, next March is...
Yeah, we are back at Hoylake over on my side on the Wirral, and I mean, we're not too sure how this one's going to go because we haven't even investigated there yet. It's our next event, so but it is probably one of the cheapest events as well. So and it is a huge venue with a lot to sort of see and investigate, and it is mostly accessible as well, isn't it? Hoylake,
it is, yeah.
At least 50% of it is accessible, so.
Yeah, there is a lift, but unless you're Bruce Willis in Die Hard 1, you don't want to get in that lift. But yeah, I mean, I've spoke to Mike about that. It's but yeah, I mean, Hoylake Parade is just what a fantastic location anyway, right on the front in Hoylake. You know, I'm glad the event wasn't last weekend when the golf was on, or it would have been carnage trying to get there and back. But that would have been typical Haunted Scouse. That they had our Haunted Scouse weather, so hopefully ours will be okay. But yeah, as Adam said, it's a great place.
It's a great place, and it's obviously it's a massive part of the community there as well. Yeah. So the money does obviously help and support them for staff and the community activities that go on there. So every little helps, as they say. But yeah, it's got some very, very, very strange stories, some very strange things that happen there. But yeah, we're going to sort of wait and see on that one. So I reckon the people who are going to end up going in September might automatically either rebook.
Yeah.
But it's the Wirral ones are really, really popular. So that's why we thought we'd get back in there as soon as we could.
Yeah, exactly. And to pick up on Aimee's points, it's not really a risk, mate, because at the end, we don't hire places just because they're big and they're cheap. We hire them because paranormal companies use them or have used them in the past, and they've got stories behind the location. There's no point us just rocking up somewhere and we've got no stories to go on. We've had to walk around. We've heard the stories about the classrooms, stories about downstairs. So there are, burpee Chris, there are a lot of stories about it. So we don't go in blind. But then we could have the best night ever in September. But yeah, we could have a quiet one. But those of you guys that have been to Mill Street Barracks, we know you love Mill Street Barracks, but we can go there and have a flat night.
It's the same of anywhere though, isn't it? It's like Lezo Lighthouse is probably one of the smallest, strangest locations that we've done, and you know, upon review, it was very, very active that night as well. So
hi, Cindy.
It swings and roundabouts, really, isn't it? I mean, like those who came to New Brighton tunnels with me a couple of weeks ago, that was a brilliant night, and I think that was something very, very different and audibly. Heard some really good stuff, and obviously, you know, Aimee's biggest scream that she's probably ever done when something went off behind the bar. So it's one of them. You just don't know how you're going to feel until you sort of walk into the location, are you? But I mean, it's a good laugh anyway, isn't it? So, and it's with your discounts, it's cheap night out, really, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. So £30. So you know, again, we will announce the fourth one now because we wanted you to just see that we're not just going back there because it was cheap, because there's a lot of locations that are not that expensive, but it's so close to most of yous.
It is, and obviously accessibility is one as well. So yeah, we took that on board as well. But yeah, it's a good location, isn't it? So, but yeah, the next one though.
Yeah, so who's ready for number 4?
She was scared, by the way.
Paranormal, yeah. Watch that back, guys, and tell us. You were. I've heard all about
the
it.
Screen that'll be on camera as well. yeah, the April one. It's the one that I sort of teased as well to everyone. It's a venue that, again, we've been dying to get into for a good while.
Hi KP.
But yeah, it's good that we're going there for the first time. We're going to bring you lot with us. So
yeah. So some of you may have heard of this one, some of you may have not. Now, well, I'll just bring it up, and then we'll see who's heard of it and who hasn't. It's the furthest away I think we've ever done for an event. But again, this is what we asked you. So it's either going to be just me and Adam, or it's going to be me and Adam and a load of you guys. So here we go.
it took me a while. I can see our guest is happy with that as well. Yeah, it took me a good while to get my head around saying this and spelling it as well. But yeah, Bronigarth, West Wales. It's there we go. We got a few people who do know it.
Steve's very excited. He can't even type. Yeah, I thought you'd like that one, Chrissy.
But yeah, this is very jealous of people who've already investigated here and looking at some of the videos that I've seen online already and hearing some of the stories. This is sort of really like, just as good as sort of the Shrewsbury prison, I think, announcement. So it's as Chris said, it is probably one of the furthest away that we've done, but I think it's definitely well worth the trip.
Yeah, it's over by Port Merion, not Port Merion.
Sure, we've got some Welsh.
Yeah, literally. If you were going to Carnarvon, you carry on down past Carnarvon, so it's kind of, imagine the North Wales coast. You're going along, you go past Carnarvon, it goes down, you're here, or you can cut through through Wrexham Way, I think. It's so yeah, I've done all my maths and I've done all my road maps and everything. So there is an easier route of going from the peninsula, which is, let's face it, most of us are going to be going from that way. We can do the Postman Pat roads through Ruthin and places like that. So it's so yeah, but yeah, honestly, I can see. So, Caroline, what I would say is, and I know you watch them as well, Dark Territory have a fantastic episode. You might have two from there, actually. So, yeah, it's, Dark Territory have got a couple of really good episodes on their channel. So, if you head over there and have a look at them, yeah. But again, guys, it's not until the 6th of April. So, because you know what we're like, if you want your place, obviously we've announced 4 locations now in a short period of time. We are not going to tell anybody no, because you ask us, can you pay your deposit next month? And some of you guys have asked that. Obviously, we're not going to say who, but some of you guys have asked that, and we are accommodating because it's all about you guys being there with us. We wouldn't exist if we were laughing today. It popped up on Adam's phone, a little video about Ghost Quest, and Ghost Quest investigates Bidston Hill, and it never happened. The investigation happened, but it never made their channel. So it's like, and then we think we're sat here now with such a fantastic following and you guys, and we look back at those first couple of filmings that we were fortunate enough to be allowed to do with Ben. And and we just count ourselves as being very, very lucky that we're in a privileged position to be sitting here in March, to be taking you guys to these locations with us. But it's gonna be epic, Bronigarth. It really is a brilliant place. Where's this? Doc's finally got out of his coffin. You're all right, Doc? It's like, brush the dust off his suit.
Well, yeah, at least it gives you plenty of time anyway to sort of plan ahead, and it bodes well for us as well. And now the first couple of events for next year are sort of boxed and glued in. We've got a few that we need to start actually investigating and making some content for the channel as well. So at least the event sides for 2024 are sort of all nailed in. It's done now. And there's still some other places that we do want to take you, but we're going to leave that until the back end of next year. But obviously, we'll make sure we announce it in due course, so you can book on. But I think that'll be enough event announcements anyway for us until at some point next year. Because as I say, we're not sort of an events company, and I know people think that we are going that way, but we're not. We're just trying to give you something really, and just try and include you with what we do. But equally, we do need to get back out and start filming some stuff.
I mean, literally, I've got 1, 2, 3. I think I've got four episodes that we filmed that I've got to edit. I've almost finished the Halloween episode.
Saved as well,
yeah. We haven't had any dramas yet. I've literally done the first edit. Nearly lost the Halloween episode last year because of a computer glitch. So I've already produced it. It's saved. It's there. If it goes to shit now, you're getting a 3.5-hour episode because I'm not going back to it.
On our face. Yeah, just check the watershed there.
No, there's people watching in Australia. It's past the watershed now. But Doc, go back to the start and watch it again. Honest to God, Caroline will tell you, and then she'll clip round the ear for being late. Right, Doc, quick update. Buy yourself a hat, buy yourself a hoodie or a t-shirt. It's great. The Boss, really good. You'll get your 10% discount. And it's but yeah, you can see on the bottom, mate, you just come in on the Bronigarth announcement. And for anyone else who missed it, the other event, the third event for next year is Hoy Lake Parade. So again, channel members get 10% off every event. Doesn't matter how low we price it. You guys are entitled to your 10% off one ticket for every event. So when you kind of balance that out over the events that we've announced, you're saving what, 6, 9, 13.50, and then another £5.50, 14, 19 quid. So even if you got the backstage pass, $4.99 a month, there's 4 months of your membership back by doing that. And then if you're buying the merch, then buy one hoodie, you're getting your month's membership back. And that's what we're all about, guys. Yes, you help us to hire locations, but when we want to reward your loyalty to us, and that's why we price everything as low as we can, including the merch, by the way.
The markup on that for us, we make next to nothing on these things. It's it's only a couple of pounds, and obviously including post as well. We don't really make too much, but it's just nice that you still support the channel by wearing the merch, and at least you get something for your money instead of just donating whatever you donate. At least you get something.
Right, let me just put that up. Kaz, I am looking into that. I tried phoning the venue yesterday on my break in work, and nobody was picking up. So I am going to keep trying, and then obviously, if you make more chocolate brownies, then I'll try harder. But no, me and Suzanne will pop over and see us, or you guys come over here. As we said, it's again another fantastic thing with Haunted Scouse. We've made friends with people now, so it's But no, I'm trying to find out, because it's so far away. There's no way we're driving there for a recce and coming back. But I am trying to find out. Let's just pick up on Steve's, and then we will get our guest on. Steve, it's September. So that will be the September episode. So for anyone who missed what I said last time as well, we are now going to be doing one episode a month, because we use that many cameras now. The edits take that long. That's all I can keep up with, and we want to keep the same quality. In between that, we'll do live chats. We'll also do lives, when we can, when Mother Nature decides to play ball. So we're gonna. I mean, it won't be that much of a difference. It's once every 4 weeks to once every 3 weeks.
No, at least over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to try and get out a few times anyway, and just do something. But it's just the weather is just so unpredictable at the minute. You've seen what it's like tonight. But yeah, at some point, maybe the back end of this week, I might go out somewhere and maybe just do something for an hour. Because I feel a bit rusty, to be fair, actually going out there and doing it. And I've got a new phone as well, so I need to sort of test the video quality of that. So it's either going to be great or it's just going to go to pot. So yeah, maybe on Friday or Saturday I might go out and do something, or Thursday, or I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, even like, you know, we're away on holiday in a couple of weeks. Not me and him. Couldn't go on holiday with him as well. Oh dear. So I will at some point be taking on my little scenic walk at Llandudno and just having a catch up. No investigation, just a chat, and just it's just nice to touch base with people as well. But yeah, so I think enough from us. So who wants a guest?
Someone who knows what they're talking about in this
field.
Yeah.
Nobody? No? Yeah. That's going well.
Sue saying, isn't Lowlands the next episode, by the way?
Yeah, Lowlands is ready. Sue, it's scheduled for premiere on the 18th of August, Friday, 18th of August. So Lowlands is the next episode. So far, there's only Sue that wants to see a guest, so I think we'll keep it private, just between us, the guest, and Sue. Come on, guys, it's worth it, you know. Who do you think it's going to be? We won't make you wait. Shall we make them wait? No. Tell you what, let's see if you recognise the voice. There we go.
Hello.
Hello, mate.
You all right?
You all right? Sorry, that was a terrible impression, that wasn't it?
It was quite good, that, to be fair. It was quite good. I'll let you have that one.
So yeah, sorry we kept you waiting so long there, mate.
It's all right. I've been enjoying it. I've been listening to everything. It sounds well good. You got some good places.
It's been funny for us guys because we've had a little version of Aimee down on the bottom of the telly, because I have a telly as a monitor, and we've been watching Aimee's reactions to some of it. So it's yeah.
Like that. You've got some really good locations there. Really, really good locations.
It's one of them. We said for next year we were going to try and hit it hard really early on, and I think Shrewsbury and Bronigarth sort of do Cascaders up there, and obviously your favourites in there as well, Antwerp. So we can't.
Antwerp's amazing.
Yeah,
it's a fab place, Antwerp. So you've got where's the other one? Holly Lake. Is that the Wirral?
Yeah, it's over on my side. It's right next to the pier. It's a massive community centre. There's at least like 50 rooms there that are being used for all kinds. But yeah, there's some really strange stories that go with it as well. So
a lot of love for you here, mate.
Hello! Oh, hi, Caroline.
Caroline's not wrong.
Definitely not. Got a distinctive laugh. No F-bombs, I promise you.
So yeah, obviously if anyone's got any questions, like there is one up there, if you start banging them in the chat for Aimee, and yeah, we'll obviously just have a bit of a general chit chat about anything paranormal. But yeah, your first question up there, coming to Antwerp again, Aimee?
100%. 100%. It's one of my favourite places. It's fab. It's so good. And it's never the same. Each time's different experience. It's amazing. Really is one of my favourite places.
I've said audibly, it's probably one of the best locations for hearing things with your own ears. Like,
definitely. Yeah. We said that last time, didn't we? When we went.
It's the whistle, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like, and it's just, you do hear a lot. So much there. It's a crazy place. It's a fascinating place. I'd love to go there, you know, and stay over 2 or 3 nights, back to back, just to see what actually happens. But yeah, it's fab. I love it. Brilliant place.
I think what was great having you with us last time, it was obviously it's your neck of the woods. So everybody commented, said the same thing, they really enjoyed. I know my mum and Suzanne said the same. They really enjoyed listening to what you knew about the building and about the area. So having somebody local come and join our guys. I mean, obviously they love you anyway. You put a, he thinks he puts a bit of glamour in it. He doesn't. We had a bit of glamour for the night. It's on the episode as well. So, but no, it was just great listening to somebody who knew the history of it so much.
The history of the place is just fascinating. It really is. There's so many really relevant and important people from like historical people from that area. It's like you look at the actual area where the house is now, and it's just so dilapidated. It's just running into the ground basically. It was once a massive, grand private estate, but the people who owned that building, he was a money person. He was very important, the original family, because they should have only ever had like one way in and one way out through the gatehouse, and they had their own separate exit and entrance, so they could basically do what they want because they had money.
Yeah,
very interesting family. Portuguese, I think the original.
I'd say how times have changed, but it sounds very familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We won't get political, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's true. Money talks.
It does.
In this gated community that I've come up to tonight as well. Yeah, it's took me quite a while to get through. Yeah.
To be fair, I do have to give him he's got his own pass card to get past security.
Oh, so yeah, it'll be good. I'm looking forward to Antwerp, but it's a great place, and it's not even that far away from my house. It is a phenomenal place, and it's never the same. Each time's different. I've never had a bad night there neither.
Yeah.
I've always had a decent night, activity wise.
About Mill Street Barracks, it's similar to that place. We've been there about 6 or 7 times now, and I think every night has been different. It's either been quiet, it's been in between. You go to one part and nothing happens, or you have the night that you came to our event and we stayed behind with yourself and Moxley and filmed an episode, and you've got
that was brilliant.
Anything, something moving past that window that we
it
all
was
saw with our own
amazing.
eyes. It was, and then hearing footsteps above us while we're all sat down in the cellar in the basement with Jonathan.
That was unbelievable.
And you're sitting there going, there's only us in here. That's footsteps.
Yeah. It's a fantastic place. When I went back with Moxley, we went and did the podcast with at Access Paranormal, with Jamie. And before we even started filming or anything, we were just sat talking. And I heard a woman, clear as day, singing. Clear as day. And it would come from like where the kitchen is. And I was like, did anyone else hear that? And Jamie's like, that was singing. And that was crystal clear. A woman singing. Not like it was, I couldn't even tell you what she was singing, but she was singing as if she was, imagine somebody pottering around and just singing away to themselves. And then you could hear what sounded like clothing, like clothing, like material rubbing together and pottering around. And I was like, not even started investigating, and this is what we can hear. It was so strange. But yeah, I love it. I've heard whistling in there as well. Something whistling.
We captured that on air. I think it made one of the episodes. I mean, unfortunately, it was back in the days when we had like 4 lights for night vision cameras. So we had the camera that was set up that didn't have a light on it, and we just had to use it as like an experimental camera. Will it capture something in just not having a light on it? But clear as anything, Jamie was sat in the where we have our base room in the bar. Yeah. Jamie was sat there with Mike and our Nikki and a couple of others, and you can hear a whistle clear as anything. And twice you hear it, and everyone reacts to it. So it is a fantastic place.
Brilliant place. It is an amazing. It's one of my favourites, Mill Street. And again, it's never the same. Like you said, it's never the same. It's always something different, and it's fascinating.
In that small cellar that we would enjoy, I think it was the first time we were there when we were investigating, and I think that was probably the first time that I actually heard something, because we had the camera there, didn't we? And we were waiting, and then I looked over my left shoulder. It sounded like water running down a drain pipe or something. But there's no obviously drainage down there, but it was clear. Very, very strange noise.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's got a definite different vibe. That small cellar there.
That small cellar is where we did the podcast.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I ever went in there, and that was unbelievable. Who's that? I can't see. Oh, it's Danny. You're right, Danny. And we was in the cellar, and both of us, I don't know if it's all three of us or both me and Mox at the same time, we both seen something, and it was like a black wisp. That's the only way I can explain it. It was black and it was like wispy. And because I went like this with my hand, and Mox said something just floated past me, and I just seen the same thing. As he said it, I did the action. Did the action, and it was down by the bottom, near the fireplace, like an old fireplace in the old cellar. It was there. I was like, what have I just seen? But it was weird. But yeah. It's a strange feeling in that little cellar. Very strange.
It is, and it's like wherever you go, you've got to look at the history of places, and that. I think that's why we've always got on so well, mate. It's you do what again, we won't get political on discussions we've had before we went live on what's going on in the paranormal community at the moment. But that's why we've basically kept ourselves to ourselves. If there's any other team that we've kind of had an interest in, it was always Ghost Quest, because that's where we started. It was only as, what are you up to? What are you up to? And then obviously we've come across the likes of yourself and Moxley, and once we got talking to yourself, mate, it's we've got that same love of history, and it's going into a place that, yes, you're going to come away and research something that you found, but like yourself, you go in there and you know about it, or you appreciate it. It's like walking around a museum.
Yeah, I think for me, it goes in, like, paranormal and history goes hand in hand, and I've always loved my history, but I've been fascinated with paranormal for being so young. So when you walk into somewhere like that, I mean, I always think to myself, say 200 years ago we were sat here, I wonder what it would have been like, and that's how my mind works, and I just find it amazing to think that we have the privilege to go to these historical buildings and to experience that, what not many people do, to get to experience it and see what it's like, and you appreciate it a little bit more. It's fascinating. It's amazing, and I think when you do have an interest like yourselves, that you're the same, you're interested in the history and stuff. I think it makes it more better for me. It's not just about going out catching a ghost, because it isn't. We want to know what the paranormal is, yes, but you also have to look into the other sides of it and the history and stuff, and it is fascinating. It's really good. It's so interesting.
There's layers, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah.
You can either do what a lot of teams do, which is just go in and take something on face value. Oh, it's a creepy building, and that's all it is. It's just an episode in a creepy building. Or you can strip away the layers and have that ability to, like, I mean, we would never have met in a pub and got chatting, because I don't think we'd have looked at each other and gone, that's the type of person I might have a shared interest. He's a blue nose, I'm a red. But once we got pushed together on Ghost Quest, it was, you like history, I like history, and straight away you had that appreciation for where you are. When you're in the middle of the park, it's like, I was kind of worried when we started, how do we sell walking around Calderstones Park and investigating one of the oldest oak trees in Europe, the Allerton Oak. It's got its own stories of fairies and folklore and hangings. They genuinely did used to hold court underneath it, which is what they did in the day. The court sat under the oldest oak tree. And I thought, I had a bit of worry, I'm going to tell this to him as an episode. Then straight away, it was like, tell the history. Yeah, it sounds great. And then he started telling me about places like Staunton Woods, where they have killer dogs called Blue. And that's when I knew it was going to work between us, because we could see that there was potential paranormal in the history of somewhere.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It is really interesting. I mean, I some of the places where I've been to, and I'll go back and I'll look into the history of them. And I have it's called I can't think what it's called, but you can get the overlay maps, so you can look at the old maps and overlay it onto what is actually there. And you look, and it's like, wow, some of the things that you find out afterwards is fascinating. And when it matches up with, you know, some of the activity and that's happened on an investigation, that's mind blowing. But I like it. Do you watch Richard Felix? Richard Felix, I think he fascinates me, and he's got some really good theories regarding like the stone tape theory and stuff like that. So I started looking into. I've got maps where it shows there's certain clay in parts of the UK, and very similar to a certain type of like brick that absorbs energy. That's the reason why there's certain stone tape theory in certain areas, and etc. Same with clay. So I've been looking at maps for that and pinpointing areas, and it's funny because there's certain places where there's people have seen like apparitions of soldiers, or it's like a reenactment of a battle, but it's all battleground, and a lot of these places, the actual land it lies on, the actual clay is there. So it's like there's got to be something. There's got to be a reason for it, and it's just fascinating. So I look at stuff like that. I would go right deep into it.
So
very deep.
Obviously, with your channel, Aimee, Shadow Hunters UK, if someone who's obviously on here has not been over to you and went onto your channel and clicked on a video, what sort of video would you sort of direct them to that would push like what you just said there about the history, or what's maybe the most interesting or fascinating sort of explore that you've done?
Ooh, I think my all-time favorite location is the Screaming House, because I've investigated it so many times and done quite a bit of research regarding where the house is, the area, the land, the history, and obviously it's the cold case murder as well. So that one is a good. I've got 5 from that one location. So they're really good to see from the beginning to the end, just to see the outcome, if that makes sense, of what activity does happen, and then the conclusions of what we think it actually is. So they're really interesting. Mill Street Barracks. I think I've got 2 from Mill Street Barracks. No, I've got 3, 2. Yeah, 2 from Mill Street. I love it there. That's a brilliant place. I'm trying to think where else. Antwerp Mansion.
Yeah.
They're my favourite places.
I just got to ask, I don't know what's going on in the chat there, but Doc, behave yourself, will you?
God knows. So, yeah, I'm trying to think where else. I've been to that many places. I've been to so many different places. It's there's loads, but yeah, I'd say them 3. Them 3.
I mean, one of my other points that I was going to pick up on, obviously, being a primary school teacher myself and being male, I'm in quite a female sort of dominated environment, and I'm just thinking about how yourself being female in a sort of, I mean, you look at sort of the paranormal, there's a lot of male or men who seem to do a lot of the investigating and exploring, especially if you click on a TV show, predominantly you'll see men or males investigating. And I know, obviously, looking at your channel and some of the people that you work with have been predominantly female. So I'm just sort of interested about your take on being a female in maybe not a male dominated environment. Sort of your take on
that. At first, I found it really difficult to be taken seriously, I did find it, and I still do now. I still get some comments, and I'm like, I'm not bothered now. I've got over that. But I go out. I think I find it. I just think maybe a slightly different approach. Probably a little bit more of an empathetic approach when it comes to investigating.
Yeah.
I like going out with, anybody. I'll go out with anyone. If you enjoy going out with you, I will go out on an investigation with you. It's all
I'll
about.
go out with anyone.
Yeah, you may enjoy going out with you. However, but yeah, if with the girls, I don't know what it is. I think we just tend to get something different, and I don't know why. I don't know why, but I do find it really interesting when I go out with Lottie and Jasmine. We tend to have a really, really good night. We're quite emotional. Females as well, so I don't know whether that plays a part in it or not. No idea.
Yeah. So
but I did find it really difficult.
Who does follow them. Lottie's explore a lot, and seeing Jasmine's bag cat paranormal.
Yeah.
So guys, if you haven't, go and have a look for those channels as well, because
I don't like it.
It's not blue, is it?
Oh. Shut up.
Yeah, to be honest, look, obviously for me, having grew up in a house with my sister and my mum, and got 2 beautiful daughters and a beautiful wife. I'll have to throw that in, mate. Sorry. But my whole life has kind of been, a lot of more females than males. So I've got to say, it's like, in slight soppy status, so to speak. But I do think you are quite inspirational, mate, in what you do, because you've got balls, for want of a better way of doing it. And what you do, even when we host the events and we try to put people in vulnerable positions, because everyone thinks they can do what we do, and then you give them the opportunity to do it, and turn the lights off, and all of a sudden that doubt comes in. But then watching you're fearless, mate. But you're not afraid when something does get you on edge. Obviously, there's the F-bombs, but you're not afraid. You don't run. Like the main female paranormal presenter we won't mention, but you don't run, you don't scream, you stand your ground and you face it.
I think that's probably why as well, the Her Who Should Not Be Named, that one, I think that's probably why, I'm not blaming her, but I do think that's probably why some females don't get taken seriously in the paranormal field. I do, because I think we all get tied with the same brush. It still scares me because it's the unknown, but I can, if I'm obsessed with it. I think about it constantly. It drives me mad because I'm so passionate about it. But yeah, I just want to know. I need to know what it is. I need to know what it is. You'll see by my reactions as well. You know, my facial expressions tell. I don't even need to open my mouth by what I'm thinking and what's going on in my head, on my facial expressions when I'm on an investigation. And but yeah, I just find it amazing. It's fascinating. It's amazing. It's a buzz as well. It's a proper buzz, and you get like addicted to that being scared shitless. But you want to know what it is.
It's chasing that fear, isn't it? And it is quite a scary thing where you go in one place, you experience it, and you think, oh, you know what? Next time I'm going to try and push myself further, and then you do get to some certain points where you sat in some lonely, dark, scary room, blindfolded with headphones on, thinking, "What is my Friday night?
What am I doing? It should be the pub. What am I doing here?" But yeah, it's brilliant.
Self in those positions, and it's so just bring that up. Hi JB, thanks for joining us. But yeah, we put ourselves in those positions because, it's gone off the boil, Ghost Adventures. But when that first came on, that's what I watched that and I thought, that's fearless paranormal investigating. That door's just shut. But through the door, what shut the door? Not like I'm going that way because that door's just shut. That's what we can. That's all we had to watch.
Yeah.
Because that's what was out there. And then Ghost Adventures came along, and suddenly you had people who were the door would slam, and you know yourself, mate. It's like I trust him, and you've got to trust who take me out to a paranormal investigation. Don't trust them at all. I wouldn't stand next to a pond with them stood behind me. Let's put it that way. But switch the lights off, put a camera on. You've got to have trust, and I think it's nice to see when you've always had that with Moxley and with Danny, and it's like now watching you do that with the girls. It's fascinating, like this little triangle that you've created with each other, and it's like personally, I want to see you do more and more and more of that.
Yeah, we've got some. Well, I'm meeting Lottie this week. We're going out. Don't know where. Absolutely no idea. I'm just going to go and have a look around and see what places. Yeah, we've been talking a lot as well about. We want to do outdoor locations. Quite a lot of different places like historic woodland and stuff like that. Anything something a bit different. So just waiting for the weather. The weather to sort itself out, because this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's the conversation we had about, I can't remember the last time we went outdoor and filmed anything, and it's just been so it's never a good balance, but we still value the outdoor ones, just that's sort of how we started, and there's some absolutely brilliant ones, especially
it's some amazing places. I've got a place near me, and it's the old ironworks, Park Bridge Ironworks. It's the actual location itself is massive, and it's a heritage site. But it's all that's left now is like the old ruins of the cotton mill that was there.
Yeah.
But the history is absolutely unbelievable. It's amazing. They made the rivets for the Eiffel Tower, and it's like it's just a fascinating place. And when I first started the channel, it's probably one of the first places that we went and investigated. Me and Louise and the other girl Aimee that was with us, and we went a good few times. And then this one particular investigation must have been about 1:30 in the morning, and there was nobody around. And clear as day, a woman singing, and it was like here. I was like, where's that just come from? It's a fascinating place. I really want to go back, but I need the weather just to perk up, because it's impossible to do otherwise.
We've got a list of outdoor locations in North Wales that we've been trying to hit for 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's gonna make a series of 6 episodes, because we've got so many different parts and a series along the theme. But Mother Nature's just decided, no, not having any of it. It's like, as you know, it's so frustrating. We're lucky in the way of we've got such great support with the events and with the channel memberships and people who are buying the merch. Because we've got all the kit we need now, so we can spend that. We're looking 2024 for us is going to be huge from the point of view of locations, because it's going to be the first year that we've actually established ourselves, I would say, financially, so that we don't have to buy the kit anymore. The money that comes in will go on locations, so we can hire a location like East Drive again, because that was a big spend for us. We can hire locations, like other places. Sorry, I'll just bring this one up.
It's Aaron. Hi, Aaron. He's awesome, Aaron. Love Aaron. He's brilliant.
Yeah, it was Caroline put me onto you the other week, mate. So it's thanks very much for joining us. Yeah,
he's another one. Him and Carl. I'm going to be meeting. I want to meet them. I want to go out with Carl and Aaron on an investigation. I always say to him, he's like the male version of me. He definitely is a male version of me.
I'll bring this one up from Chrissy. It's a longer comment, but it's very, very true. And again, it's why we started to take an interest in what you were doing, because you're just like we are. It's ironically, again, I'm neck deep in the Halloween edit, but I've cut 5 or 10 minutes from it after discussing it with Adam, where we are convinced that because obviously we film full night vision, so we can't see that in front of our faces. But there's a bit in it where we are convinced that there's light anomalies coming out of one of the bedrooms. And when you're only looking through a small LCD screen, it's easy to look at it because you can't see anything there. You're not using a light, so you're not bouncing off anything for your own eyes. And we're talking about it. We are convinced what we've seen is a load of orbs. But when I'm doing the edit and I've got it on the big 37-inch telly I use as a monitor, they're clearly not. They're clearly dust particles. So it's been taken out. Rather than look in and build it up and then say, upon review, we thought, we've now decided these were dust particles. These were dust particles, and there's no two ways about it. But in the moment, if I would have left that in, it was a genuine reaction because Adam passed the camera to me because he knows I do the editing. So I'm more used to seeing what it looks like. And even I have to say, wow, that one's just come straight out the bed. But when I've looked at it further, as I've been watching it, straight away I've gone, not really, no. But it's but that's honesty.
But it is honesty, exactly, and it's genuine. It is a genuine reaction as well, which I think for me, it's like on investigations. I've gone out places and I've like heard something. I'm like, what did I just hear? Or something's really made me like took me aback, or it's made me jump or whatever. That's a genuine reaction, and you think, Jesus, that could have actually been something. And then when you do review it and it isn't, there's nothing wrong with that. It's in the moment. If you can't debunk it in that moment there and then, there's nothing you can do until, like you say, you review the footage. Then you probably make light of what it is. Either it is unexplainable or it is explainable. You're not pulling the wool over anyone's eyes. You're in that moment, and that's what you saw or what you heard, etc. is what happened. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's good.
Go back to Antwerp when we were in that last room. Should we call it the bondage room with everyone gets stuck up to the wall?
The cage.
And we clearly heard that whistle. And I was saying it kind of annoys me because my mum got the best line of the whole episode when because my mum and Suzanne were sat above us, and I know they can't whistle. My mum can whistle when she does that, but not just she can't just whistle. But some people can turn around and say, "Oh, you've got two people up there; it's going to be them." But it's like, okay, well, if you want to say that, say that. But go watch the back catalogue of what we've done, of what you've done, and then actually judge us on
everything.
150 videos, not on one or even five, because it depends on the more you do it, the more experienced you become.
Yes. The more in tune you become of places as well. It's like I do a lot of places where abandoned buildings and stuff, which and you're aware that there is natural noises, natural sounds that come from these buildings. Yes, there's probably broken windows, so you're guaranteed to get a noise coming from a broken window. There could be stuff dropping from the ceiling. It's all different things, and you're aware of those, and you're in tune. You know because you're more experienced in doing it over the years. It's the same with old buildings as well that we go to, that you hire out. But what people hire out, you can go to them. They are old buildings, so you will get natural sounds, natural noises, etc. But the more you've done it, the more you notice them noises, if that makes sense. So when you do hear something that is out of the ordinary, it's like, hang on a minute, what was that? Then you pick up on it a lot quicker because you're more experienced in what you're doing, just because of the length of time you've been doing them and the amount of investigations that you've done. But yeah, I don't know whether you do this. When I go into places, the first thing I do is listen out for noises and listen for patterns, because if it's a reoccurring pattern, there's a good chance it's a natural noise. Do you understand what I mean? So
I always say, eyes are always your best tools, and the first thing you do, you don't go in there and steam in and throw your equipment on and stuff. It is just sort of listening, just get a feel building and the surroundings, and and then it's the easiest way to sort of debunk.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well,
And I always say, sorry, go on.
It's sitting there. It's whether it's East Drive, the ancient ramp, Nugent Park, walking around there, and things like that. But you've got to absorb the building, and if you're lucky enough to go back to places time after time, it's like East Drive. There's a lot in it where we're sat with the cuppa. And I'm going to leave some of it in the Halloween episode because it's literally we're talking to the camera saying, this is what you've got to do. Some people might say, you're meant to be investigating. You're sitting there with a brew and a plate of hobnobs. And it's like, well, no. We're listening while we're talking. It's like, did you hear that? Yeah. There's a boiler there that kicks in. Like Adam thinks he hears a noise. And, and I genuinely think he did. But then about 2 minutes later, the boiler kicks in.
Yeah.
But I have got a section that I'm going to leave in the episode where the boiler kicks in and a lock-off camera listens to the boiler kick in, but something else happens on that lock-off camera, which everyone will have to wait till Halloween to see, and it's not the boiler, and I've left the boiler clip in for that very reason. We are listening, even editing, yourself, you're listening for things on the edit.
Yeah.
And in the moment, it might be, what's that? But when you're editing, you go, right, okay, it's that.
Yeah. It is. It's I love when you get I love editing. Don't be wrong, it drives me absolutely mental because it just does. It's hard work editing a video, but I love listening to all the footage back because sometimes you pick up on things you're like, oh my god, I didn't even know that happened, or I didn't even hear that, and some of your findings that you can have on your actual footage, which you had no idea that happened on the actual night, can be absolutely amazing. Can be so interesting. And then also, again, you can also debunk stuff through your editing as well. When you think you've...
It's also the most frustrating thing in the world when you watch your footage back and something happens that you didn't get onto. And you're thinking, oh, for God's sake, it's like that's the reaction moment, but you don't realise it's happening. Especially with us using lock-off cameras, a lot of the time it's on them.
Well, I mean,
your great one was the ancient ramming on your lock-off camera. That was absolutely. I was like gobsmacked, and that's hard for me. I was like, oh, I couldn't believe it. What a capture that was. That was unreal. Brilliant.
Well, I was just glad that after 6 hours of watching that same shot, because it was running for 9.5 hours, that camera, just looking at the same shot. After 6 hours, something finally happened other than the radiator tapping.
But it's brilliant. So good.
It's so that's small wherever you put your cameras, because you're never going to capture, it's very, very rare you kind of get that golden moment. We were at New Brighton Tunnels last week, and I had a camera pointing at all of us in the main bar area, and on the app it came through like drain camera or drain battery, and about 20 seconds later the camera went off. So
no way.
Okay, fair enough. So then I went and got another battery, and as I'm changing that, in the room just opposite, a crucifix fell off the wall and landed at my feet, and you just couldn't make it up. I didn't have any cameras on, we didn't have nothing there, but I mean, at least if the camera was on, it would have picked the noise up, but it was just behind the camera in the room opposite, and the crucifix fell off the wall.
No, that's brilliant.
It's just,
it looks really good there. It looks really good. That's the underground one. Is it the underground tunnel? Was it used during the war?
Yeah, it's it's been used for loads of things. It's like 200 odd years old, but I mean, mainly it's got all the machinery down there that was used to make all the bullets, and for World War II. So there's loads of it there. Honestly, you could go there at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You turn the lights off. It's pitch black. There's no light in there at all. So there's some really good little hidey holes and things sort of stashed away. But it is the ones that did come to it. They see. Well, I don't know. They might be in the chat. I'm sure they'll throw up a comment. But, it was a really, really good night, and fingers crossed we're going to go back and film something.
Well, I'll bring Steve's up, and then I'll go back to the Broken Capital question. So Steve was there, and he said it was witness to it or through it. Come on, Steve. It was dark down there.
It's brilliant.
That sounds amazing. It's always a way in it. You turn your camera. I've done it. I've done it so many times. I don't do it anymore. I keep the camera rolling because you can guarantee I'll turn it off and something will happen. I'll be like, why? Why?
But no, I just wanted to pick up on this comment because there's so many teams that do use the Polaroid cameras, and I completely get your point in that. Once it's come out the camera, whatever you've captured is there. I don't know. I think my point of view is because it uses a flash. It depends where you are. If you use a flash in a pitch black room, and there's a cobweb drifting past at that time, or there's one little bug just goes past the camera at the moment the flash goes bang.
Yeah.
You're gonna think you've captured something potential paranormal, and then you're gonna say, "I'll take another one. Look, it's not there."
I mean, a proper Polaroid camera and the actual paper and prints are so expensive.
Yeah.
Because I was going to get one for our wedding for people to take a selfie and put it in a guest book. And the price, it was like a pack of 5. It was like 20 odd quid. So I know you can get, like, my Ella's got a smaller one. And it's all right for a little photo album. But in terms of using it for that, I would want something proper, and I think the price would just be scandalous, really. So, a great idea, and
I think it's a good idea. It's definitely I've seen people use it. It's a good idea. I always say it's good to experiment. It's always experiment because it's just good. It's a good thing to do, rather than you can't just go in and just call out and expect something to happen, because activity can come in all shapes and forms, not just noises and knocks and walking, and it could be anything. So it's a good thing to use, but like you say, I can imagine that would be so expensive, super expensive to fund.
I mean, in a way, it's good that you sort of you've built up a bit of a following, a bit like us there, that you can be trusted with what you sort of put out there. That there isn't any BS that goes with it. So there's no sort of real need to do that. Because obviously you're nothing without sort of your credibility in this game, and with us, what we put out that's what we've got. It's up to you to sort of decide if you want to call it BS. That's fine, but we're not clever enough to sort of edit and adapt things in a way to make it look more spookier than it is, and we do it in a much more cleverer way than a noise or a tap or something here. Because I mean, other than the music box moving and the shadow in 3 years, that's some of the best stuff that we've got. But at least we know that we're honest in what we do and how we've got that. So.
That's the best way to be. It is. I mean, at the moment, I do what I do. I'm at a loss. It's like it costs me more than what I actually do make to do. From YouTube. It's like, why would I couldn't even. Why would I waste my money going out to do something that could potentially not even make me any money anyway? Do you get what I mean? I just don't see the point in it, and I couldn't even begin to think how to tamper with like evidence and stuff in, like you see like software. I was watching. I can't think who it was. I was watching, and it showed you about like masking and how to mask over certain footage and stuff like that. And I was thinking, oh my god, wow, who has this amount of time in the world to do stuff like this? Blows my mind.
I created because obviously it's like your intros are absolutely amazing. Putting my intros to shame, and so pack it in, please. But we're trying to make our intros more and more interesting. And it's like little things, like I was watching the lock-off camera looking up the stairs at East Drive, and then just as a little experiment, as you just said, I took the exact same shot. We were only setting up. He still had the shorts on, scaring me with his legs. So I took this little shot of the lock-off camera looking up the stairs, equipment's in the same place, and then I took the shot of us walking past and going up the stairs. And then it's brilliant. He sits like 3 steps from the top, and I just put it on top, dropped the volume on that, and faded it. And it literally, if one of us was dressed up in like a white dress floating up the stairs, and you did that, you could probably kid about 50% of the people that would watch you. And as you said, why people? I genuinely have a feeling when I watch, and I'll never jump out there and debunk anyone because they're still making the time to do this. But I genuinely watch some, and I listen to playbacks on stuff, and I think, no, if we ever think we capture something on EVP, I will replay you the full section of us recording that EVP, so that you can hear there's no noise. And then when you're listening back to the EVP, where's that noise come from? Even if it's a tap or a bang, you're in the camera shot, making sure that you can be seen. You're not moving. You're not tapping it with your little finger or something like that. You know, because a lot of these digital recorders now, they're so light. Only takes a slight movement and it sounds like someone's cracked it with a hammer.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, we do know teams have cheated with little fingernail on the back. Just very subtly. Try it as an experiment. Anyone who's got a digital recorder, we know some of you know, like Sue, I know you're big on your digital recorders. Just try it when you're recording one. Just get your fingernail and just slightly scratch the back just for 2 seconds, then stop. And then ask another question. And then just do the same. And then record another one without doing the scratch and listen to the two side by side. I guarantee you'll think, if you could play the other one and you go, my God, there's something there. And we do know that, you know, you find out the tricks of the trade. It's picture frames on the side of a wall and put a marble on top of it. So when you knock on the wall, is there anyone there? Knock, knock, knock. And if the wall's thin enough, that's going to dislodge the marble on the picture frame. What's that noise from next door? You go in, there's a marble on the floor. Where did that come from? Oh, I don't know. There was no one in there, you know, but there was no lock-off camera either to show it rolling off the picture. You know, ice cubes on the side of a chair. Once the ice melts to a certain point, it'll slide off. It'll make a noise. By the time you find it, there's nothing there because it was ice.
Cool, ectoplasm.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. I think with like what we used to watch on TV, you know, like the paranormal channels on TV, a lot of it was entertainment. So when you get hours, like obsessed, used to watch all of it, and then when you go out and do the investigations for yourself, it isn't like that because it isn't. I mean, you guys know it's long. It can be so long and draining and half the time boring on an investigation when there's absolutely nothing happening. So you end up having sitting there at the brew or you sat there for hours just chatting away, and you break all that footage down. You're lucky to get, say, about an hour and a half maximum if you've got, you know, if stuff that's happened, but it's not like nothing like what's on TV or in the movies or anything like that. Nothing's being lobbed across the room, or it's just not. I think stuff like that has given us a bad name in a way, because it makes us all look like we're all tarred with the same brush again. No, not many people believe in the paranormal. Not many people do. We've got so many skeptics. It's good to be skeptical. It is really good. We've got a lot of non-believers. So we're having to try and prove ourselves constantly prove yourselves. I mean, I have stuff that happens in my videos. And
just one quick second, Aimee. I need to ask you a question. Aimee, I've got to ask, are you Grace's teacher or were you Grace's teacher? Just before you go. And I'm really sorry to hear you poorly. The reason I'm asking this is Grace came home with a certificate from school and it had the name was signed Aimee, exactly the same spelling, and I thought, coincidence or be waiting forever now? She's already gone. Yeah.
I'll have to do another live chat for the answer for that.
Right, sorry, Aimee. Yeah,
it's all right. What I was saying is, like, you question some of the things that I've got on my investigations. and then stuff that's happened, and it's like, it's this to me is I find it fascinating, it's amazing. But then you always want to put videos out and people go, no, don't believe that, don't believe it, because you are always going to get them skeptical people or non-believers.
The thing is, you could have the best evidence you could have, you know, behind you now.
It still won't be real.
Yeah, you're never going to 100% sort of prove it, are you? And for me, it was just more of a, you know, it is like you said, it's the entertainment versus the reality. You know, where does this stop? Where does the entertainment sort of stop? Where's the truth and the reality sort of balance? And doing this, it is, at least it sort of realigns with my beliefs anyway. But there is certain things that are becoming harder to explain. But yeah, at least, you know, we've never had a table fly off or a chair get smashed in front of us. But it's just it's the truth, isn't it? And as we said, you know, the small little bits that we do capture, it just makes it even more exciting to think, wow, you know, at least I know we controlled the whole investigation, we controlled the environment, so it's easier for us to sort of, you know, debunk it.
Definitely. I mean, do you guys feel like you experience more stuff now the longer you've been doing it? Do you feel like you experience more? For
me, I mean, the first year or so, nothing really ever happened to me, and I think because it was really along the lines of, I'm skeptical, so I don't really believe. You know, I love to, but I'm until I see something, no. And then I think you've got to sort of let your guard down a little bit and be a bit more open to it. Like when people come on events and then we say, oh, you know, it is a bit, you feel really, really silly, like calling out for the first time in front of people. But I think the more you sort of relax into it and the more you think, okay, you know, let's sort of go with it and see what happens. Okay, there's a name there. Let's go, like, you know, John. Oh, is there a John? You know, and you sort of try and tell that story through. I think for me, things have started to happen that way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're probably never going to top what this guy's seen in like the 2.5 years we've done it. But yeah, for me, a little bit,
Yeah. So I think I've always been more tuned in.
Yeah.
And I think that's I think that's why I have actually seen things, because I think from a young child I've had that ability to kind of tune into it.
It was the 30s, wasn't it? Everyone was seeing.
It puts me down as being some old cod, yeah. I mean, if you've ever seen the footage of me trying to get off the floor when we've sat on the floor, he's not wrong, like. But yeah. But no, I just think it's every investigation is a new chance to experience something, and it's you know, you go in somewhere and it's like we're off camera having a conversation in East Drive saying, what do we do next? Right, we need to do this, we need to do that. Because remember last year at the Ancient Round when we shared it basically and stayed together, you know. Well, should we split up? Well, yeah, only if you go in that room and I'll be in the one next door, because I don't want to go in on my own. And people don't realise fear can get you as well. Doesn't matter how long you do this for. You might go in. We went into the Ancient Round first time, all the idea of what we wanted to do. We had it all played out in our head, and then one thing happened, and I can't remember what it was, but we let fear get to us. And we couldn't do what we actually wanted to do. That's why we went back, and everyone's still to see the. I'm gonna edit the solos that we did. They'll be out in October to build up to Halloween. But we had to go back because we then knew the building, and then we went in on our own, lights off, night vision, and had our own experiences. 2 very different episodes as well, because it'll be. One of them will just have Adam, one of them will just have me. But we both had such different experiences. But we knew the building, and I think, like you said, with the screaming house, is it the you know, it's it, so you know the layout of it, and I do think that helps.
Yeah, I think with that place, I know the experience that I've had there. I think it's one of the other places that has absolutely terrified me, and then genuinely terrified me. The second time I visited, I was on the verge of tears. I was like awful. But I know there's something, some of that. It's just such a different place. It's a place that is no other place like it for me. That's my personal belief. But the noises and stuff that you hear, and it's just it's a strange experience in there. I always say I wish that I could bottle the feelings up that we're experiencing, bottle them up and give them to our viewers to feel what we feel. When you feel the difference in like the energy change in the room, you can feel it. It's just at some points I feel like you feel like you're vibrating. It's like a vibration. I can't explain it. It's so strange. The temperature changes and just that overwhelming dread feel that comes over you. It's just it's fascinating. That's the reason why I had to keep on going back, because I knew there was far more to it, far more to that place. But it's one place that's truly terrified me, and it's being demolished. I'm gutted it's being demolished, but I want to go back to the woodland area and all around there, because there's quite a few people that have come forward and said that around that area they have like activity, but it's just literally a stone throw away from Chester. So there's a lot of haunted places, and they've found like they've done a lot of like archaeological digs, like burial pits, plague pits, medieval church has been found there. There's an old castle which is on the next street, which we used to be there, and battles and stuff. So there's a lot more to that place. I don't think it's the house.
Yeah. I mean, Caroline makes a good point there. It's like, if it's what is 100% proof, and it kind of depends what is proof of paranormal. Is it do you have to have a shadow? Because guarantee we could show that ancient ram footage to 20 different people. 10 of them are going to say, wow, that's amazing. The other 10 are going to say, well, it could have been yourselves walking past and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, okay, I'll give you the half an hour's footage either side of it, because I am not clever enough in the editing to create something like that. I'll quite happily give someone an hour's raw footage with that instant right in the middle of that hour. You can bore yourself silly for half an hour on either side, watching us walk through there, watching us go upstairs, out the camera shot, and then what happens is that, I mean, that's the other tricky thing with editing with multiple cameras. Your timeline has got to be, I chop and place the cameras, and I'm putting timelines on it so I know where that slips into the main camera. So we always have that one main camera carrying around, and people would turn around and say, oh, it's not real. And it's like, all I know is when I watched it back, I knew I'm watching a camera that nothing is happening on. I'm struggling to keep my eyes open. And then all of a sudden, like when the music box moved to Peter Cavanagh's, you're watching it and you're thinking, you're boring the crap out of me now. But I'm going to watch it because there might just be that one moment. I mean, and 9 times out of 10, obviously there isn't. But on those occasions there was. But there's always going to be someone who calls it and says, we're saying there's 100% proof that there's something in the ancient ram. The next one will say, nah, it was you two walking through. So you can't win. I don't think we're ever going to actually find anything where we'll get people to say.
In our lifetime, we won't. I don't think in our lifetime we will ever find out what it is. Never. At all. I don't think it will not happen. It's too many. I wish that more people would share experiences and their theories and their thoughts and stuff with one another, within the paranormal community. I wish that more of that would happen, because we could learn so much from each other, but it doesn't happen. It's just always been a weird it's like it just doesn't happen, and you're never going to please everybody. Not everyone's going to believe you. But fair enough. I mean, it is what it is, but I don't think we'll ever find out in our lifetime what it is at all. It's so much more to it. It's fascinating.
scientists think they can explain why there's no such thing as ghosts. But then in 10 years' time, scientists change their mind on what should you eat red meat, should you not? Should you drink red wine, should you not? Is this good for you? Is this bad for you? And it's the scientists that are
Always
driving
changing.
all that. And then, but then the scientists want to say, well, ghosts, it's impossible for ghosts to exist because, well, it's impossible for ghosts to exist because nobody's ever proven positive that ghosts do exist.
Yeah.
But if we did that, it's kind of like it's. I read a quote years back. Remember, we used to have them calendars and used to tear the day off, and then have your inspirational quote for the day. Before we had mobile phones for the calendar, don't look at me like that. I still have a digital alarm clock. I'm saying nothing. So, but I remember one quote and it said, "Man's greatest fear was to succeed, because to have succeeded is to have finished one's work in life." And I had to think about it, and then when I hit what it was on about, I can't remember any of the other 365 days that year when it was on the calendar, but that one stood out to me because I thought, there's a good point there. Be careful what you kind of want to achieve, because if that's all you're aiming for, and that's where it's great, the likes of ourselves, it's not just about it's about the location, it's about the locality. It's not just about, oh, there was a little boy seen in the corner of a room and over there, and he was seen last week. But what about the rest of the building? Yes, we might capture something in that room, but does that mean the rest of the building's not worth looking at because it was all about that? And that's why it's great the way we do it. It's the greater thing of what the location offers.
Yeah, definitely. And as well, it's like you were saying before, like people have been to places and they've not experienced anything, but yet other people have gone and they have. And it's like, well, my favourite thing I always say is it's the not performing monkeys. You can't expect to get something every single time because it's impossible. That's never going to happen. It isn't going to happen.
Thanks, Chrissy. Take care.
See you later, Chrissy. But yeah, it's just it's really frustrating because you feel like you're constantly having to prove yourself all the time. That especially when you're so passionate about something and you love doing what you do. You do feel like you have to prove yourself all the time to people because you never are like they're not always you're not going to be believed all the time. You are going to get that element thrown at you all the time. Well, every now and again. But anyone who does investigations, I think they'll be the same. You'll never stop them from doing it because if once you believe that there is the paranormal is a real thing, then there's no stopping you from doing what you're doing. It's such an interesting subject. I don't think it'll ever be a boring subject because it's never been proven. So as long as it's not proven, it'll be a fascinating subject. And then like you say, what do we need to do to prove what it is? What do we need to capture? It's mad. It really is. It's frustrating as well, though, because you know yourself when you go on these investigations and the likes of the people who come on your events and stuff, they experience it as well. So that's a brilliant thing because you get your subscribers and your viewers, and they come along and they experience what we experience on an investigation. So that's really good because they get to see an insight of what you do all the time. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I wish more people would actually experience that before they actually comment and say, no, it's not real. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. They need to go out on more investigations.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely it. And it's lucky for us that the same people keep coming back, that you don't feel like you have to sort of prove that, oh, we need something to happen, we need something to light up, we need something to make a noise. They just know that, well, if that doesn't happen, well, that's just part and parcel of it, because that is what real paranormal investigating sort of is. We're not reinventing the wheel. It's if something happens, it happens, doesn't it? And we don't fake it. It's just one of those things. So
definitely. But
I
I
mean, what
do
a
like to see
website for yourself as well, by the way, mate. You've seen all the locations where you're going to have the events in as well. Now, I know it goes without saying for our crew, you know, you're welcome anytime to come and join us, because it's
definitely.
you well and truly add something to it. So it's I know I've already mentioned it to you. Hopefully, you can join us in December in Newsham.
Definitely, 100%.
But yeah,
100%.
I guys love you, and you don't drink that much tea or coffee, so it's it doesn't cost you either.
I love coming out with you. I think, and you've got a great community, and a lot of the people, like a lot of your community, is also part of my community, and I love that because everyone's so lovely and friendly. It's nice. It's great that we get on. It is. It's so yeah. I'll definitely come in.
Well, I mean, the thing is, that was the great thing that night in Mill Street Barracks. It was actually perfect that you walked in because I could sneak you in under the cover of darkness. Sorry, guys, a couple of late comers, and it was only when the lights come on and everyone went, "Oh my god!" And it was actually a lovely moment for us because we had the rest of the night off because they just pecked your heads then. Went off and did what we wanted to do. So
It was a brilliant night. That I loved it, and do you know what I enjoy as well when you come on your events? It's like you can actually don't have to be sat there filming and stuff. I can actually just get involved in the investigation, not have to worry where the camera's going or anything, you know. And I love that side of it because I do miss that side of just going on an investigation and not having to worry about recording.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
I love that. So it's great just to get involved in the investigation.
We've made the active choice now, unless it's a location we haven't been to before and we can film, because it's awkward. It's like Shrewsbury Prison, we can't film, and nobody who attends on the night can film either because they wanted an extra £600 to film it. And it's already more than £1,000 for us to hire it. It's 4 figures to hire it.
Oh my god!
They wanted an extra £600 just to put a camera on and walk around. And Newsham Park's the same. When you hire Newsham Park to host your own event, when they're emailing you back, they kind of warn you, there's no filming allowed, things like that. So you've got to be careful on the events as well with it. But we've kind of made the active decision for exactly what you've just said, Aim. It's so we can enjoy the night as much as well. Yeah. If it's somewhere we've been before, we might throw 2 lock-off cameras up, but we're not carrying one around. Or we might just say, do you know what? No cameras. Let's just be in the moment. We've got all the kit. But it's always like, hotspots. So it's good. It's always good to just maybe have 1 or 2 cameras running, because if someone says they've experienced something, watch it back.
Just know it's sod's law when when there's no camera running, something happens, doesn't it? But equally, it's good to sort of experience that together. But yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? When we come to film, it's got to be selective because you've got a host as well, which is a completely pressure, which I experienced on my own. Luckily, it was a lot of regulars, but trying to balance lock-off cameras running around and actually host is it's completely different. It's so different, in respect to your likes of Haunted Happenings and event companies like that do it, sort of day in, day out, and week in, week out. I'm not really. It's not for me. I'm quite happy just bossing him about and telling him to put a camera here and there and make me a cup of tea. But
I don't know about that off Caroline, like posh Scousers.
Posh Scouse? I don't think I'm Scousers. No way.
We need to get Philip back out as Queen of Scotty. Yeah. Maybe that's it, because we had Philip on. And Philip's from the other end of Liverpool, which is more you've got more of that, on the accent. So it's maybe ours has softened.
But it's through all this. So from doing the investigations and stuff, and I follow. Do you know who Scouse Ma is? I follow Scouse Ma.
Yeah.
So I speak to her now. So we need to arrange a date where we can get together for her to come on an investigation, because she's fascinated by it. She's never been on an invest before. So I said I think it'll be fun. So I've got to arrange a date to go out and meet her to go on an investigation. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be honestly, I mean, it's not for the faint-hearted if you follow Scousmar on her social
She's
media,
it.
by the way, guys. So yeah, parental warning there. It's, yeah,
Yeah, just be
18 plus
warned.
plus.
But she's brilliant and she's dead good fun. She's funny.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, here's a question for you off William, our American friend.
Any experience when
Any experience you've had that stuck with you? It's proper. Anything that you think of and you just, when you think back to it,
that scared me. So I think when I went to 30 East Drive, I went off on my own at the beginning. Well, it's probably we went during the day and then we stayed throughout the night. In the beginning, I sat on the bed at one point, and I was sat on the bed, and I feel the bed move when I'm sat on it. I've been sat on it for a while, and I feel the bed as if something's moved the bed, and that made I was like this. I don't like this because I was on my own doing my own little solo around there. That scared me. I think purely because of the place it is, if you know what I mean. It's scary anyway, knowing that you're going to 30 East Drive because of the stories that have come from it. And then it's the footage from East Drive and I'm doing the scrying. Now I didn't know that the footage got sent to me the day after. It's after the they had like CCTV cameras in there. But whilst I was doing the scrying, I've sat there and I said my head feels too heavy for my neck, as if my head was going backwards. I couldn't keep my head up fully. And I also felt as if something touched me from like on the top of my leg from under where the dresser was. I didn't like that. Didn't like that at all. Another place, which is the Screaming House, and this was a strange experience, something that I seen as I was walking towards the house. And I'm walking down the road, it's pitch black, and I seen what looked like, I thought it was a dog at first, because it was like a solid black shadow and it was up against a car. So I stopped and I said to Moxley, I think it's a dog. So I'm like, shit, a dog's gonna pounce on us or something, because it was about 12:30 at night. Next, it changed shape. It just shifted, got taller, and walked that way, but into where the bushes were. But there was no sound that come from it. And we both saw it, and I was like, what have I just seen? What have I just seen? And it was such a strange, I cannot explain it. And we just literally got out the car, was walking towards up the lane to go to the house. And it was like something was crouched there, stood up, and then moved, but it went into the bush. There were no footsteps, no noise, and it would have had to have literally disappeared into the bush. There was nothing. It was silent. I'll never forget that, because I can never explain it.
And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. So, fair play for you carrying on with that.
But yeah, I can't explain that.
When you do the outdoor ones, I do think, and that's why we want to get back out and do some more. I think you're on edge automatically because you've removed your safety net of a location. And I think for us, I think we've become a little bit too comfortable at times, because we go into a location, we put the kettle on, we have a walk around, and then we try to, how are we going to set this up if we don't know the location already? And I think when you go outside, that's why it's like we're lucky enough to, we've been invited to investigate another pub, which we're going to do early September. But it's a pub, unlike when we first did them and they were all shut. We're going to have to rock up, wait for the last customers to go out. They've said they're going to close early, which is fantastic for us. But we need a quiet night. So it's going to have to be a school night. So we've discussed how we're going to film it. And we've said we're going to have to treat it like an outdoor episode. If we put 2 lock-offs in the bar, then 1 handheld camera, and then kind of set the timer. Because if you do an outdoor one, you know yourself, you don't realise how much walking you do.
Yeah.
Then you're kind of fuming because you put your phone in flight mode, so it hasn't even recorded your steps for you to look at. You know, so your phone thinks you've had the night off and gone to bed early, and it hasn't recorded 20,000 steps up and down Bidston Hill or something like that. So it's we want to get back out because it kind of it limits us in a good way, if that makes sense. I think if you're in a comfortable environment, you can get too carried away with, right, and then we need to go to that bit, we need to go to that bit. Whereas outdoors, it just leads you to where it leads you. Rake Lane Cemetery was a great one for us. We got to that one section, the grave, the spirit talker started spitting out the names on the graves, and we were walking away. Where should we go next? And we just had the discussion. That's it. That's the episode right there. Why go to another set of gravestones and try and force it? And I think that's the outdoor ones are great. You can have all the intentions of walking all the way half a mile to somewhere, and where you stood, something's happening and it keeps happening for half an hour. How are you going to better that? Just take it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Go with it. Definitely. Definitely. That's why I want to go back to the Cartbridge Ironworks, just because it's a great place. It's a great outdoor location to do. But it's just it's really interesting. The other thing that we heard when we was there as well, it sounded like metal being banged on. Do you know, as if imagine like a pickaxe, like you hear that ding, that
like an anvil type thing, an old Smiths.
Yeah. So we heard that, we could hear that noise, and then there was looked like as if there was a load of men talking at once. But it was in the middle of the night. It's like, where has this just come from? It's like residuals.
Yeah,
fascinating.
Exactly. Like I've just, we've just said them blacksmiths. It's who's to say there wasn't one there?
Yeah.
When everyone's just trotting the horses down and right, okay, there's a little ramshack little village popped up, and there's a blacksmith because like there's a quick fit on the corner of every road now or a garage.
It's fascinating.
You didn't have a car, you had a horse, so you needed screw fix is the case for us, that the Griffin a couple of times. It's screw fix. Even makes a little cameo appearance at the end of the next episode in September. At least it was polite enough to wait till we'd finished filming. The screw fix alarm went off.
Is another place where I think would be really good, but I don't know how far away it is from you. It's Tadcaster, and it's where the battle, the Battle of the War of the Roses. It's one of the main battlefields that's there. But slap bang in the middle of that field is a church, an old chapel. They call it the Ramblers Chapel. So you've got that little church which is open 24 hours, and it's literally next to the battlefield where the main battle, the War of the Roses, were. So I think that'd be a really interesting place to go in. Investigate an outdoor location, but it's Tadcaster way.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's it. You just do a little bit of research on where you are and what was there. Like I mean, we've seen things in this house, and this is a new build house 12 years ago. He's looking around now. It's like, what?
Get the K2 out.
To go back to what you said about the geo-reference maps and you swap one above the other, I don't know whether there's a website that I use, and I'll send you the link to it. It's you put them side by side.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I've got it. It's amazing, and you can see it.
We can see like the houses, the way we go one way now with the terraces. They used to go a different way. And maybe what we are seeing sometimes or experiencing is from the houses that were there, because this was a heavily bombed area by Garston Docks, where I live. So people lost their lives, and it was a heavy industrial area. People would have lost their lives in that as well.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's so interesting. It's so. I mean, I always refer to the film The Others. Do you know the film The Others with Nicole Kidman? And she thinks that her house is haunted, or there's still people in her house, and it isn't. It's them that are dead, and not. And it's like, I always think, I wonder if they see what we see, or do they still see everything as it was when they passed away? Do you get what I mean? It's fascinating. It's so interesting. But like, when you say, when people say, well, I've just seen something walk through a wall, And you think, well, yeah, because maybe all them years ago that wall more likely wasn't there. Like you say, your house is a new build, and the houses ran the opposite way from how they're built now.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting. It is. I mean,
But no, I think looking at the time, you two might be off work, but I'm not. So, so if you stay where you are, mate, and we'll. But yeah, listen, guys, for everybody who's been joining in the chat and watching, we'll wrap it now because we've been going for nearly 2 hours at the time. Just fly.
bloody hell, no
Yeah.
way.
But it's but no, honestly, it's it obviously goes without saying we'll get Aimee on again because there's so much more to talk about, and I'm sure
Yeah.
you guys won't mind us getting Aimee back on as well. But yeah. So listen, guys, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, jump over onto the page, get your Halloween merch. I am going to do weekly orders. We've even sat here and rocked it for you all night. I couldn't convince him to wear a hat, so I had to put them next to him. But yeah, I will create a page link for the 2 events that we've announced tonight as well. So if you are late to the party on this, go back near the beginning, and after about 10-15 minutes, you'll see the events that we've announced. But yeah, listen, thank you to Aimee for joining us tonight, and
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
No,
yeah,
brilliant.
I've really enjoyed it.
But no, listen, thanks, guys. We will see you in the chat on the 18th of August for the Lowlands Mansion episode, and yeah, we've got a lot more to come. So yeah.
Keep your eyes peeled as well. I might go live at some point this week, and maybe go alone and see what I can. Yeah,
it's always carnage when he goes out alone. It's well worth watching.
No dogs, no dogs, no dogs.
No, he loses his rag with his kit and everything. Phones me and says, "I need a new camera rig. This, must have been faulty." I'll look forward to that. I do like it when he goes out on his own and I'm sat there with the cuphead just manning the chat. But listen, guys, thank you very much for joining us, and yeah, we will catch up again soon.
Cheers, Aimee, and see you soon, everyone.
See you later. Thank you. See you later.